Zoom Zoom. You feel it. And with extra value now at Mazda, it's time to own it. Go for Mazda CX-3 Neo from $22,490 drive away, plus a $500 Go bonus. It's time to go.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker. iFix Mildura. Always there for you when you damage your phone.
Hit News Briefing.
Hi, it's Dan Flake here with the latest. We're approaching 24 hours on from that horror bus crash that seriously injured 10 kids in Melbourne, with 7 still in hospital. We won't go into the details of those injuries, although police say for some they've been life-changing. Superintendent Michael Cruz says it was a traumatic incident for all involved, but says it brought out the best from the public.
The bus driver, despite being injured, he helped some of the children out of the bus. We had passers-by who have heroically stopped immediately and assisted the children who could be removed. And then we obviously had the emergency services respond.
A truck driver's been charged with 4 counts of dangerous driving and is due to front court today. The Quad leaders meeting in Sydney next week's no longer going ahead. US President Joe Biden's been forced to cancel his trip to our shores to continue work negotiating a rise of the nation's debt ceiling in Congress there. PM Anthony Albanese says Quad leaders will try to catch up at the upcoming G7 meet in Japan instead.
The Quad is an important body, and we want to make sure that it occurs at leadership level, and we'll be having that discussion over the weekend.
A possible silver lining following the latest on wage growth. It was thought quarterly numbers would need to come in at around 1% for the RBA to factor in the info in a cash rate hike next month. They've only come in at 0.8%. Jetstar backdrop and check-in will close 40 minutes before takeoff, and boarding gates will shut 20 minutes before domestic departures from next Tuesday. And Falls Festival organisers have announced plans to give the event a break this year.
Wherever the journey takes you, you can rely on Century batteries to take you there. Proudly Australian made since 1928. Visit centurybatteries.com.au.
John Longmire's revealed Lance Franklin rose off his sick bed to play in last week's loss to Fremantle, where he was held goalless in consecutive games for the first time in a decade. The Swans coach says expectations need to be lowered around what Buddy can produce.
His ability to be able to play at that level, obviously, is going to be impacted. The older he gets, he's the oldest player in the competition. Last week, he spent 2 days in bed. He's the type of player who'll put himself out there and try and put himself out there to compete every week.
And we're expecting the AFL Grand Final to remain in its traditional time slot. It's understood the Commission's meeting to finalise it today.
Chemist Warehouse Langtree. Open 7am until 11pm. Nurse on call from 6 to 10pm.
This is Hit Weather.
Partly cloudy and 16 for the rest of the day across Sunraysia. Much the same tomorrow and a top of 17 on Friday. The Science Briefing podcast is your go-to for the latest research in tech, health, AI, space and more. New episodes weekly on the Listener app.